We're trying to do, not just for the state of Arizona, not just for the voters, but for the entire country. Whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Italian, Asian, it doesn't matter. It's not a color thing. It is a God-given right to us, and we have to protect that given right.
If everything was done pristinely, there shouldn't be a problem. You should want it to say, show really what the true numbers were and dispel any misconceptions. You would want that, but it's telling to me to say, I don't want to know, and I want to know, why don't you want to know?
My name is Shauna. I am a homeschooling mother of 5, and I was an observer at the Maricopa audit.
I was part of the observer group. If you ever saw the videos, we were the ones in orange shirts.
I started the first day, and I worked up until yesterday.
I came in as an observer.
We were just there basically as quality control to make sure everything was running smoothly in the way that it was supposed to run.
Just oversee and watch for any anomalies, anything that was repetitious, anything that was out of the ordinary.
People from every different occupation, all walks of life, were there wanting to help and work and find out the truth for their country.
My question was more about the integrity of the election.
I had to find out the truth. I had to find out if we could trust our election system.
A lot of people believe that this physical recount of these ballots somehow justify or vindicate the county. The problem with that theory is the only way to determine whether or not the ballots that were originally fed into the tabulator, and hear me when I say that, the ballots originally fed into the tabulator are the results we got, is to look at the logs of the tabulators and compare them to that CVR record and then compare them to the ballot counts. The only way to ensure that is through those logs, which the county has now via Twitter admitted they deleted.
Maricopa County elections failed to control the election. They failed to do their job to make sure that 22 months, all of these documents were saved. They got rid of them. Why did they do that? Well, they did that because it overwrote the log files.
There were a lot of things that we noticed that were not organic.
The bubbles being filled in absolutely perfect.
Was obviously not done by a human hand.
As though they were printed.
A human being didn't do that.
Ballots that were, that weren't lined up.
The bullseye didn't line up.
That target should have been in that bullseye.
The crosshairs would be here, and sometimes the mark would be over here.
The volunteers stop and look at a ballot. The paper was very, very thin.
The paper was really thin. I mean, because when they moved it, it's almost like it's just really thin.
It looks like someone had stained the ballots on purpose.
At times, there were more than 50% of the ballot that was gone. Sometimes it was only like 25% of a ballot was there. It was very peculiar.
There were large pieces torn off of the ballots.
When a ballot is soiled, damaged, or otherwise marked and shifts into adjudication, the startling thing to point out is another human being is now determining your intent. They have now effectively voted for you.
I would watch the ballots go by, and there were odd patterns.
I question the patterns of repeats that I saw. That is an anomaly that was repeated over multiple days.
7 of those ballots are for Biden, 1 for Trump, 7 for Biden, 1 for Trump, 7 for Biden, 1 for Trump. That clearly that's not statistically possible.
If I had a box of all Bidens, and I didn't want to look like I had an all box of all Bidens, wouldn't I just and stick some in?
So we reported the patterns of the ballots, And of course, we reported all of this to the leads, but not quite sure if it actually got into the report.
The physical recount of the physical ballots pretty much aligned with what they claim. What they didn't tell you is behind the scenes, there were 17,000 plus duplicate mail-in ballots.
The audit has revealed that possibly well over 60,000 of these counted ballots are illegal ballots. And without further investigation, we do not know whether a ballot is legal or illegal. And that must be determined. And the staggering difference in these numbers is way more than enough to alter and change every aspect of the outcome of this election.
We've had something very unique in this country, and that we have freedom, and that we get to decide who our president is, who our vice president is, who our elected officials are. We get to choose.
Your vote is your single most important right on earth here in the United States. And to have that stolen from you is, it's bringing me to tears. Excuse me. It's the most important thing. The most important thing that we could do.